Hi, Christine. How are you today?
I'm good, Alex. I am fine. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad.
Good.
Thank you for joining me for this interview today. Let's get started.
Okay.
First question. What was something you took away from the Tapestry program that you're excited to use going forward?
I think it's mostly to do with my attitude about my creativity. So I was pretty, I was excited about the possibility of doing this program, but I also, I'm a performer, but I'm not a creator. So I've never trusted my own creativity. And to do all these projects where I had to just start into something that was creative, um, is something that will stay with me for a very long time. Because now I will just start into stuff. I won't worry about it and think, well, I can't do this. It won't be as nice as anybody else's, So it's taken me through all of those feelings and they're gone. So that's great. That's fantastic.
Wonderful. Do you feel as if you could help or teach others, like your friends or family, to do some of the same things or techniques that you learned during this program, like mending or printmaking, or even using like digital literacy, like Zoom?
The literacy I already had, so I've already helped family members with that. Actually, my 16-year-old granddaughter helps all of us. She's our expert, our tech guy. Um, so I was already pretty comfortable on Zoom. Um, I also have done knitting and crocheting and taught other people how to do that. So, but from the program, um, yeah, I would say I just from the kind of teaching we had, which for the most part was really good, and the experience of creating a panel, I can definitely now talk with some authority about what it's like to create a lino cut or do embroidery, which I'd never done before ever, um, and show people how to do it and coach people through it. So yeah, definitely I've learned enough to be able to do that.
Were there any obstacles that you faced but ultimately overcame?
Uh, they were all personal. So I was going through a very difficult time for myself, which meant in the family, I had a death in the family. And so I got so far behind on everything. I felt like I never was going to catch up because I was just overwhelmed with all of the tasks that I had to do in my family. And also, what I talked about a minute ago, my lack of confidence in my ability to create, that was a real stumbling block because I would put off getting started on anything because I think I don't know how to do this. It's going to look terrible. Um, and I did a really big push the last couple of weeks before we met last weekend and just started in on things. Just went, okay, today this is what I'm going to do, and just started and was really pleased with the results. I was very happy with my own individual voice in each medium. And all the panels look totally different. And so I really learned about that too, that when we express ourselves that way, it's not going to look like everybody else's because we're not like everybody else. And so it's not about creating something that looks similar to anybody else's. It's about our own expression. And so I overcame that personal stumbling block. And also I didn't let the family issues keep me from completing the whole program, the whole project. And that was I had a very strong sense of satisfaction about that. So, yeah.
Mhm. That's great. How has tapestry affected your feelings of connection, not only within the arts, but with fellow seniors in the East End?
That's an interesting question because I felt like there were a number of people in the group who weren't active on Facebook and who I didn't really feel as if I got connected to. But the ones, I would say the ones who were active on Facebook, the group of us, I did start to feel really connected through the monthly Zoom workshops, just seeing everybody and having people take part. It would have been quite different in person. And I know why we can't do it in person, but it would have been a very different experience, I think. And then I did get to know, I discovered that one of the women lives like 2 blocks, 3 blocks from my house. And we've been doing messenger back and forth, and she was helping me with some problems I was having with blocking my crochet piece and stuff like that. And so we've been chatting back and forth, and we're going to have coffee at some point. And I also connected with another person who lives on my street, just a few blocks down. So it did definitely set up some new relationships that way, which was great. And it was actually fun last weekend to put, well, I already had faces for the names, but to actually have live people that I've been so engaged with virtually. It was great. It was really fun. It was great.
That's what we like to hear, that you're making meaningful connections, right? Yeah. All right. So tell me, in your opinion, why is sustainability within the textile arts important?
I think partly so any creating I've done, so I'm doing a quilting class right now, hand quilting, and I've done a lot of quilting, sewing, and I've done knitting classes and various things. And especially in the quilting class, everybody's always buying new fabric. We all have these huge stashes. Mine is underneath my bed. And and we get very excited about new fabrics and new yarns and all of that kind of stuff. And we never ever think about what it took to make those fabrics. We never think about that part. And it's never really mentioned. And I think it's really important that we start bringing that to the forefront. And it was really enlightening to discover that we could do all these panels without having to buy new fabric or materials, for the most part. I had to buy some embroidery floss, but to just go through our stashes and share our stashes and say, oh, I could do this with this. And for example, the floral hoop thing that I did, I found a piece of fabric that was a very subtle, that in my stash, my big stash, that was a very subtle overlay of leaves on each other. And then I put the floral hoop on that, so to really look at what we've already got and not create more garbage and honor. I think for me, a lot of it's about honoring the gift, the plants that went to make the cotton fabric that we're using, or the wool, the sheep that give up their wool so that we can, and the people that make the yarn, the wool fabrics out of that. It's a lot of work and energy that the earth is giving up for us to have these pleasures of being able to create, and using them properly and respectfully is a way to honor that gift. So that's how I feel about it. Yeah.
It's a really great outlook on sustainability. Okay, so last question. How did Tapestry make you feel?
I remember I applied, and then getting the email that I was part of the group I was very excited about it. And then of course I was a little bit intimidated by it. then, but overall, it's opened up a whole new way of looking at some things in my life. And it was, I'm very busy, but it's all with family commitments and responsibilities and stuff. And I don't do that much stuff that's just for me. And that was for me. So, so it made me feel really good about that too, especially after COVID. It was nice to stretch out and do some new things and discover some new, I don't know, I guess competencies in myself and things that I would have been afraid of. Now I'm not afraid of. And yeah, so if that makes sense, it was very exciting and intimidating and rewarding all at once. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for talking to me, Christine.
You're welcome, Alex. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too, Alex.